Have you ever found yourself sitting in a quiet room, the world outside moving faster than you can keep up? You're surrounded by memories, but something's missing. Relationships have shifted, and the days when you could rely on your friends, family, or even your health to always be there seem to have faded. The things that once defined you, your work, your social circles, your routines, don't seem to hold the same significance anymore. As we get older, this is a feeling many of us can relate to. There's a shift that happens, and it's not always easy. The question becomes, how do we navigate through these changes and still find joy, meaning, and purpose? More importantly, how do we preserve our sense of self, our own inner strength, when everything around us seems to be changing? This question of self-awareness is what I want to talk about today, and it's something that's not just abstract, it's practical. As we age, it becomes more and more important. And today, we're going to explore the 4 pillars of life in old age and how these 4 key principles can help you live with more freedom, purpose, and happiness. The first pillar is about learning to be alone without feeling lonely. You might be thinking, but I don't want to be alone. I miss the days when my house was full of laughter, when there was always someone around. I understand that. We all do. But here's the thing. Loneliness doesn't come from being by yourself. It comes from feeling disconnected from yourself. As we get older, it's important to focus on something called inner freedom. This idea suggests that, over time, we need to learn how to live within ourselves. When we can find peace and fulfillment from within, we no longer rely on external things, like relationships or social status, to feel happy. And being alone doesn't have to be a bad thing. In fact, it's a powerful opportunity to reconnect with yourself. Think about it. How many times have you felt overwhelmed by the noise of the world, the demands of others, or the constant flow of distractions? Now imagine taking a step back and finding peace in the quiet, in your own company. You can sit by the window, enjoy a cup of tea, read your favorite book, or simply reflect on your day. These small moments of solitude can recharge you in ways you never thought possible. You don't have to isolate yourself completely, of course. But learning to enjoy being alone, to embrace your own company, can bring a sense of inner peace. And that's where true freedom lies, in being comfortable with who you are, no matter who is around you. It's about recognizing that your value doesn't depend on the presence of others, but on the connection you have with yourself. Now, the second pillar is creating order in your daily life. I know this one might sound a little, boring. Who wants to think about routines and structure when the world is already so structured, right? But trust me, having order in your daily life is more powerful than you think. It's not just about having a clean house or keeping things organized. It's about giving your day a rhythm, a sense of direction. Think about your mornings. When you wake up, do you feel rushed or overwhelmed? Or do you have a calm, grounded start to your day? How you organize your time, your environment, and even your thoughts can set the tone for everything that follows. This idea of order, of creating a space in your life where you know what to expect, where you can find peace in your surroundings, brings a sense of control, especially in your later years. Order isn't just about organizing external things. It's also about creating inner order. When your home is organized and your schedule is balanced, it brings a sense of clarity and peace. This inner order frees you up to focus on what truly matters instead of getting caught up in the chaos of life. So think about it. What can you do today to create a bit more order in your life? Maybe it's as simple as making your bed in the morning or setting aside a specific time each day for a quiet moment. These small acts of order can help you feel more grounded and less stressed, giving you the space you need to focus on the things that truly matter. Now that we've talked about the first 2 pillars, the ability to be alone and creating order in your life, let's move on to the next 2. These pillars might feel a little more challenging, but I promise you, they're just as important for living a life of purpose and happiness as you get older. Stay with me. We'll dive into the 3rd pillar in the next part of this video. But remember, every step you take to build these pillars will help you feel stronger and more centered, no matter what age you are. Now that we've explored the first 2 pillars, learning to be alone, and creating order in our lives, let's move on to the third pillar: indifference to the judgment of others. This one can be tough, especially as we get older. The world around us often seems like it's constantly judging, and sometimes it feels like people expect us to act a certain way or meet certain standards. You may have heard people say things like, "At your age, you should be doing this," or "Why don't you just relax and enjoy life more?" These judgments, whether spoken or unspoken, can weigh heavily on us. But here's the good news: you don't have to live according to anyone else's standards. True freedom comes when we stop depending on the approval or disapproval of others. A person should act according to their own inner moral law, not in an effort to please or impress others. This idea is liberating, isn't it? To know that you don't have to meet anyone else's expectations but your own. As we age, the pressure to conform can fade. Kids grow up, people go their own ways, and you find yourself with fewer and fewer external expectations. This is actually an opportunity, a chance to rediscover who you really are, independent of outside influences. For example, imagine you've always loved painting, but you never had the time when you were raising a family or focusing on your career. Now you have the freedom to pick up that paintbrush whenever you feel like it, without worrying about how it looks to anyone else. Your artistic journey is about you, not about impressing anyone. Maybe in the past, you were concerned about how others saw you. Perhaps you didn't wear that quirky hat or express your true opinions because you were worried about judgment. But as you grow older, that need for approval fades. You begin to realize that what matters most is staying true to yourself and honoring your own desires. This is freedom, the freedom to be yourself, to live your life authentically, without being weighed down by what others think. I know it can take time to get there. But every day you can practice becoming more indifferent to outside judgments. You can remind yourself that what others think of you is none of your business. The more you focus on living according to your own values, the more peaceful and fulfilling your life will become. Now, let's move on to the fourth and final pillar: fidelity to oneself. This one might feel like a natural extension of what we've talked about already. It's about finding meaning in your life, and most importantly, about creating that meaning from within, not from external sources like praise, recognition, or material success. As we age, many of the things we once depended on for validation, career achievements, financial success, social status, may fade or shift, and that's okay. In fact, this is an opportunity to cultivate a deeper connection with yourself. The most profound form of freedom comes from living in harmony with your own inner values, which is what is meant by fidelity to oneself. It's about feeling that your life has purpose, even if you're not chasing external rewards. You're not waiting for someone else to tell you that you're doing it right. You know it yourself deep down. Think about those small, quiet moments when you do something just for you. It could be enjoying a cup of coffee in the morning, writing in a journal, or tending to your garden. These little acts of self-care and self-expression are not trivial. They're a reminder that you are worthy of love and respect simply because you exist. Your life is meaningful, not because of what others think or expect, but because you choose to find joy and purpose in the everyday. Maybe you take a walk every morning just to feel the sun on your face and the fresh air in your lungs. Or perhaps you read a book that speaks to your heart, not because it's popular or trendy, but because it aligns with your inner thoughts and desires. These actions, no matter how small, help you stay connected to yourself and remind you that your life matters. As we grow older, it's easy to fall into the trap of feeling like we've lost our place in the world. But the opposite is true. As we age, we don't lose our meaning. We get the chance to redefine it, to live in alignment with what truly matters to us. Fidelity to oneself is about being true to your values, your beliefs, and your heart. It's about understanding that you are the author of your own story. So, as you move through this stage of life, ask yourself, what brings you joy? What makes you feel alive? What are the small things you do each day that remind you that your life has meaning, no matter your age or circumstances? These little moments are the foundation of a fulfilling life. Now we've covered the third and fourth pillars. acting independently of others' judgments, and staying true to yourself. These pillars, along with the ability to enjoy solitude and create order in your life, form a strong foundation for living with freedom, purpose, and inner peace. In the final part of this video, we'll wrap up everything we've discussed and explore how these 4 pillars can work together to create a richer, more meaningful life in your later years. Stay with me, because the best is yet to come. As we near the end of this discussion, let's take a moment to reflect on the 4 pillars we've explored so far. Learning to be alone without loneliness, creating order in your life, freeing yourself from the judgment of others, and staying true to yourself. These pillars, when embraced, form a powerful foundation for living a life full of meaning, freedom, and peace. Now you may be wondering, how do all these pieces fit together in my day-to-day life? It's one thing to understand these ideas, but how can we apply them in a practical, real-world way? Here's the beauty of it. Once you start focusing on these 4 pillars, they begin to support each other, creating a cycle of positive change. When you learn to enjoy your own company, for example, you begin to feel more confident and secure in your own skin. This confidence allows you to create more order in your life, as you're no longer distracted by the need to please others or live up to outside expectations. When you cultivate inner peace, you find yourself less concerned with others' judgments, and this freedom allows you to stay true to your values and principles. And as you become more aligned with yourself, you'll naturally embrace solitude and create more order in your daily routines. The 4 pillars become interconnected, each one strengthening the others, leading you to a more fulfilling and centered life. One thing I want to stress is that embracing these principles doesn't mean you need to live in complete isolation or avoid relationships. Far from it. What this is about is reclaiming your personal strength, your sense of self, so that no matter what happens in your external world, you have a solid foundation to stand on. The relationships that remain in your life will be deeper, more meaningful, and rooted in mutual respect and understanding. As you grow older, you'll inevitably experience losses. People will come and go, your body may change, and the things you once depended on may not be as available to you. But in these moments of change, it's important to remember that you have an inner wellspring of strength to draw from. Think about the simple yet powerful act of sitting in a quiet space, doing something that brings you joy, even if it's just for a few minutes. It could be as simple as making yourself a cup of tea, listening to your favorite music, or looking out the window at the world around you. These moments are precious. They are reminders that life, even in its quieter moments, holds deep meaning. And the more you nurture these moments, the more you'll realize that you don't need to be constantly distracted or busy to feel fulfilled. The key to living your best life at any age is finding a balance between embracing solitude, creating order, and staying true to yourself. In doing so, you create a life that is rich with meaning, joy, and freedom. Remember, no matter where you are in life, these 4 pillars are always within your reach. It's never too late to start building a life that's grounded in your own inner strength, peace, and values. As you move forward, take small steps to incorporate these principles into your daily routine. Maybe it's starting by carving out a bit of quiet time for yourself each day. Or perhaps you can begin by organizing a small corner of your home, creating a space that reflects the inner order you want to cultivate. The truth is, small changes add up over time, and as you begin to embrace these 4 pillars, you'll notice a shift in the way you feel, in the way you see yourself, and in the way you experience the world around you. The more you practice these principles, the more you'll realize that true freedom, true happiness, doesn't depend on anything outside of you. It's about living according to your own inner law and finding peace in who you are, no matter what age you are. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Life is an ongoing journey of discovery, growth, and change. No matter how old you are, you can always find new ways to connect with yourself, to create meaning, and to live with purpose. You have the power to shape your life, to make it exactly what you want it to be. And the beauty of it is that, as you get older, You have the wisdom to understand that the most important thing is not what's happening around you, but what's happening within you. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope these 4 pillars help guide you toward a life filled with meaning, peace, and freedom. If this video resonated with you, please leave a comment below and share your thoughts. I'd love to hear about how these principles are showing up in your life. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, Strong Elderly Life, for more tips and inspiration for living your best life at any age. Here's to embracing your inner strength, finding peace in solitude, and living a life that's truly your own. You've got this, and your best years are still ahead.